It's a chilly start to spring today. Just want to give you a reminder that we are not allowed to accept AI tools in our state meeting. So if an AI tool does pop up trying to join the meeting, we will have to deny that from joining. So if you have one that you're trying to use, we cannot allow those in our meeting. On the call with us today is our wonderful educator effectiveness team. We have Amy Floyd. I'm Tracy Riddle. Also have Micah and Sarah could not be with us today. But we have Candace Robinson, our team contractor, also with us today. So thank you, team, for joining us. In our meeting today, our focus is going to be around supporting your teachers. I have a lot of information to share with you, and I hope you'll find it valuable information to share with your teachers and how you can support them. We will also discuss peer review a little bit and your next steps, and then we'll end the day with final supports. The first thing I want to talk to you today about supporting your teachers, I do want to reference our State Board Policy 5.201, as well as our Team Portfolio Guidebook for administrators and teachers. Both of these documents contain information about the portfolio lead's role and responsibility. In our State Board Policy, if you'll refer to page 5, number 2 lists the responsibilities as a portfolio lead. And then in our guidebook on page 11, we list those responsibilities as well. In our office hour today, I'm going to take you through each of those responsibilities, mostly as a review. We've talked about most of these things, but I want to give you the resources from your responsibilities that are listed in those two documents and give you some support on how you can fulfill those responsibilities. One is to maintain your accurate teacher rosters in the platform, TN Portfolio. You have already submitted your roster verification forms, and I thank you for that. If you have found since you've submitted that a teacher has been left off, those are the only ones we can add is if a teacher's been there all year. But if you find someone that has been left off at this point and you need to add them, just let me know. And then if anybody has resigned or become PYE, you can let me know about them as well, and we can remove those. We're going to talk about distributing all of the portfolio related information that we have and all the resources we have for teachers, monitoring your submission status of your teachers that are participating in the portfolio process, participating in office hours. So if you're here today, you are participating in the office hours, and we thank you for that. Anyone who is not able to attend, we do record our office hours, so you can always go back and refer to these. We also will upload this PowerPoint to our office hours slide. And then we're going to talk also about how to monitor and support the completion of the portfolio process. And then finally, we're going to talk about our communication with the department, specifically with portfolio questions. So the first thing we're going to look at, as I said earlier, you have already submitted your roster verification form. So thank you for that. You've already checked this information in the platform. So I just want to remind you where this is. If you go in as your district administrator access and click on reports, your district portfolio teacher report will give you the roster of teachers that are active in the platform. Those are the ones that you have not removed. You'll see that on the dashboard. If you see any information in this report that needs to be updated, just let us know. When you pull up the dashboard, this is what you see. I have blacked out teachers' information for this PowerPoint, but you can see here on the far right the status of where your teachers are. If you see not started, that means that the teacher has not began selecting his or her rubric, or they have not begun uploading anything. It doesn't mean that they haven't activated their accounts. You'll actually have to pull up the CSV file at the bottom to see, but I am pretty sure most all teachers have activated their accounts, or I have already talk to you about any teacher who has not activated their account. You will also, oh, excuse me. You will also see that we have a column with the teacher's model as well. So you can double check that. The second thing that portfolio leads do is distribute all of the information and resources we have. We have a plethora of information on our team website for portfolio teachers. It's so important that you share these resources with teachers. I have found over the past month, a lot of our questions that we are receiving right now from teachers in portfolio questions can be found in these documents. And in some cases, teachers are not aware of the resources. I'm not sure that teachers check the team website as often as you do as portfolio leads. So we just want to make sure that you can share this slide with them if you would like to, of all the resources they have. We have the team website. As I referenced earlier, with the guidebook for the administrators and teachers it will take teachers through the process. Anything about the portfolio process is in that guidebook, regardless of their model. We have a new teacher FAQ this year that's been updated, and it's on the team website. Our platform, TN Portfolio, has its own page now on the team website. On that page, teachers can access an instructional video. And I've also included the PowerPoint. In the PowerPoint for this teacher video, if they will hover over the top left-hand corner, they can see my notes that I put in there. This video takes them through not only logging in, but also the process all the way to completion. And then it also has links to resources, the same resources that are found here on the team website. We have the portfolio teacher guidance page. And on this page, teachers can find not only the rubric, but also some scoring and assessment guidance for each model. Pre-K through second grade models also have YouTube videos for each standard in their portfolio. So they can watch a YouTube video of either Micah or myself talking through their standards. The TN Portfolio video guidance document we released last month at our February office hour. Please make sure teachers have this guidance document as well. It will give them support and answer the questions that they have around uploading videos. The portfolio peer reviewer page is new. I encourage you to check that out. We also have on that page feedback from last year's peer reviewers, so it's really interesting. And then each model has its own page on the team website. You can find each of these resources by clicking on the Student Growth Portfolio on the home page of the team website. Our office hours for you to attend are found on the team website. They're found over the tab Office Hour. If you'll click on Office Hour, you'll see we have several office hours hosted by our team. The Portfolio Lead has its own page. So if you'll click on Portfolio Lead Office Hours, you can find PowerPoints and recordings of all of our meetings from this school year. And today's PowerPoint will be up this afternoon, and our recording usually takes about 2 business days before we can get that up. Today I want to talk to you about monitoring the submission status as well. This can be found in your reports tab under the district collection report. Also in your district administrator manual for TN Portfolio, you can find screenshots of exactly and step-by-step instructions on how to monitor submission status. When you click on your district collection report, you will see this information in your file download. I want to talk about this just a little bit to make sure we all understand what you're looking at when you pull up your collection report. Keep in mind, every teacher has 4 collections. So when you pull up this report, you'll see the teacher's name 4 times. Under scoring rubric, that column M, you will see what standard they selected. In order for a teacher to complete a collection, they have to have all of the differentiated samples. In most of the models, that's an emerging, proficient, and an advanced sample. PE will have more than those three. And then every teacher must also put in a self-score for each piece of student work. So here in this report, notice in this report the teacher's percent complete. That is the percent that is complete for the collection. Keep in mind, this is a collection report. Again, I have blacked out teachers' names, but notice here, this is a first grade teacher. Her foundational literacy collection is 8% complete. And in the teacher's self-score column, it's blank. So that would tell you that this teacher has begun working in foundational literacy, but has not self-scored the work. This self-score number is the average self-score for the collection. So here's an example. This PE teacher here has, and there's several PE teachers, so again, the names are blacked out, but for an example, these first four, if that was one teacher, you can see the first collection is at 83% complete. So the teacher, you could tell her if him or her, if they are thinking they're complete, that they're not complete and they have not self-scored. If I was the portfolio lead for this teacher, I would be concerned that for this third collection, serves underhanded, it is 100% complete, but the average gross score for this collection, the teacher self-score average, is a 1. So that would tell me that either the teacher hasn't grown the students that they have taught for underhand served at all, or they have self-scored the work incorrectly, or maybe I need to talk to them about purposeful sampling. We want teachers to choose students for each category, emerging, proficient, and advanced, that shows the best growth for that group of students. So again, I would be concerned if I had a teacher who is showing no growth, and this particular teacher, when they self-scored, the average of those self-scores, and I will talk to you about how those averages are collected today, but that average is a 1, so that is concerning. 4s and 5s is wonderful. That means they've grown students above average growth. A 1 is concerning. So I encourage you to look at those scores and have conversations with teachers, again, about their purposeful sampling. Have they uploaded the student work correctly? It could be, we have seen teachers upload point B work in point A's category. And so when the growth is calculated, if they put the work in incorrectly, it may show no growth. So again, this would be a teacher to check on. Other ways to support teachers is to monitor their timely completion of the process. Every year, unfortunately, we have a few teachers who do not complete the portfolio process by the deadline. So we want to make sure not only that you know the deadline, but that all the teachers are aware. The deadline for portfolio completion is May the 5th. That is a Monday at 5 p.m. Central Time. This information is also found on the teacher's dashboard. In order for a portfolio to be complete, the teacher must self-score all of the work, all samples at point A and point B, and all 4 collections must be complete. This is an example here of a teacher's dashboard, and you can see for this teacher, you can see there are 4 collections, and the bar shows 100%. It will also show the word complete. You can also see the due date. Teachers will have the due date right here. this due date on the screen is incorrect. It was from this summer when I was just doing a screenshot. So the due date that they see on theirs does say May 5th, 2025, 5 p.m. Central Time. They will, oops, excuse me. They will also see this green bar says, congratulations, you have completed your portfolio. Now, once they complete, they can still go back in and make edits up until 5 o'clock on May 5th. At 5:01, they will not be able to make any more edits or do anything in the platform. So again, just making sure they know this time is critical. After 5 o'clock, if all 4 collections are not complete, the portfolio will be assigned incomplete. An incomplete portfolio is no score for growth. Without a growth score, teachers will not generate an LOE for the school year. After 5 o'clock on May 5th, there will be no extensions. There will be, we frequently have had a few teachers email and say something's happened, this or that, but there is no extension past 5 p.m. on May 5th. On Sunday, May the 4th, 24 hours before the deadline, every teacher will receive this email. It will remind them that they have 24 hours to complete the portfolio. This email will come from Teach All. It will give them their status. It will either show that they are complete already on the day, but 24 hours before. It will show they're in progress or that they still have not started. One thing to remind teachers, if they are complete on May 4th, but they go in and do anything as far as removing, change scores, if they take anything off, then the status will change to in progress. If it is complete and they are happy, they need to leave it alone. Don't remove any work. If they do take down work that they have already scored, they can reload work, but the self-score does not come down with the work. So then they would need to go back and rescore anything that they've changed. The final thing about supporting your teachers is about communication. Please encourage your teachers to always ask you first when they need support with their portfolio implementation. If you don't know the answer, please email us. Teachers are encouraged to email us as well, but we will always copy you on the response so that you know what questions your teachers are asking. I also want to make sure that you share with teachers that portfolio questions is not available on the weekend. Sporadically, we may check it on the weekend, but it's not a practice. So with the deadline being on a Monday, if they need support on Saturday or Sunday, they will have to wait till Monday. I would strongly recommend that they not wait until the weekend before May 5th to complete their portfolio. If they have problems, specifically if they have technical problems, I cannot help them on the weekend. And then our IT support cannot help them on the weekend. So I please encourage them to, this is a new platform. We are all learning the new platform. So I would strongly encourage them to finish their portfolio that at least by that Friday before the Monday deadline. So just making sure everybody plans and is ready for the deadline. The next thing I want to talk to you about is peer review. As I said, the peer reviewer page is up. It has lots of information about our application. The solicitation is there on this website, so teachers can read the expectations for this position. This is an application process, so we only select the number needed per model. So the applications are scored, and teachers will receive a contract if they are selected. We will also email you and let you know who we select. The deadline for applications is next Friday, March the 28th. So encourage your teachers who haven't applied, who are interested, to get those applications in by next Friday. We will have peer review from May 27th until June 13th. And this is done on the peer reviewers' time and on their devices. The only requirement is that they must score at least 20 collections in order to be paid. They are paid $20 per collection that they score. And we are also paying them this year for the 2 required trainings that they must attend. So I want to talk to you, as I said, about scores and how the scores are calculated and how peer reviewers play a role in that scoring process. So as I said, teachers must self-score the work. That self-score is used for consensus. So the first peer reviewer who receives a collection, when that average score for that collection is compared to the score that I showed you, the teacher's self-score for the collection, if they are in consensus, that means that they are within 1 of each other, then the review is complete and the peer reviewer's score is the score for that, the gross score for that collection. If there's a discrepancy between the 2 scores, let's say, for example, the teacher who I showed you who had self-scored that collection at a 1. If the peer reviewer's average score for that collection is a 3, then that is a discrepancy. So it will go to a second peer reviewer. The second peer reviewer cannot see the first peer reviewer's score. Neither peer reviewer can see a teacher self-score. Peer reviewers only see the student work in 1 collection at a time. So one peer reviewer will most likely not get all 4 collections of a specific teacher. But once that second peer reviewer gets the collection, if that second peer reviewer's score is in consensus with either the teacher's self-score or the first peer reviewer's score, then the second peer reviewer's score is the score for the collection. So again, using that same example, if the teacher's self-score average for the collection was a 1, then the first peer reviewer's score for that collection is a 3. It went to the second peer reviewer. If the second peer reviewer also, the average for the collection is a 3 or a 4, it would be in consensus with the first peer reviewer, then the score would stand from that second peer reviewer. If the second peer reviewer's average gross score for the collection is a 1, it would be in consensus with the teacher's self-score, the 1 would stand. If the second peer reviewer's score is not in consensus with either the teacher's self-score or the first peer reviewer's score, let's say the second peer reviewer's average was a 5, the peer reviewer 1's average was a 3, and the teacher's self-score was a 1, then it's still not in consensus, and at that point, that collection will go into the queue for an expert reviewer. An expert reviewer's score is final. So whatever the gross score average is that an expert reviewer applies to the student work, that is the final score. In our new platform, you will be able to see the scores from each peer reviewer and in your collection report. As you saw in the example that I showed you, you can see currently the teacher's self-score. After scores are released to you, you will be able to see how many reviewers it went to and what that score was in your collection report. When scoring, there have been circumstances where a student work could not be scored. In prior platforms, both the teacher and you as district administrators have reached out about why could the work not be scored. You will be able to see why a peer reviewer selected that work could not be scored after score release date, and that will be in your samples report. So when peer reviewers are scoring the student work, if they come upon any of these reasons, and this is what it looks like on the peer reviewer's score sheet, then the student work is marked cannot be scored. So here's some reasons why student work cannot be scored. If the student work that's uploaded is not aligned to the standard. An example of that could be it's a counting and cardinality collection, and the student work is reading as a reading sample. The work is not aligned to the standard. So that would be a reason it could not be scored. If the required evidence is video, and all the required evidence is in the teacher's model guidebook. If it says required video and there is no video uploaded in the student work because it is an oral assessment, it must be a video, then that would be a reason the peer reviewer could not score it. Also, make sure your teachers realize that if the rubric says required evidence answer key, they must upload an answer key. If there is not an answer key, the student work will not be able to be scored. Another reason is if the student at point A is not the same student at point B for a sample. For each sample, emerging, proficient, and advanced, we'll use emerging as an example first. The student at point A and point B must be the same student. The student in the proficient sample cannot be the same student that the teacher uploaded for the emerging. It also cannot be the same student at advanced. It needs to be 3 different students, but at each sample, the A and the B have to be the same student. So that next one that says the same student is used in multiple samples in one collection, that's why it could not be scored. And then finally, if the work that is uploaded is just blank, if a teacher uploads a blank piece of paper, that cannot be scored. If the video shows nothing, that cannot be scored. So make sure and all this information is on the portfolio teacher guidance page. Remember, I told you that they not only have the guidebook with their rubrics, but they also have a scoring and assessment book for each model. These reasons are all listed in there for your teachers. If student work is marked cannot be scored, then both A and B receive this score. If we can't score A, then we're not scoring B, or vice versa. If point B cannot be scored, A will not be scored. We cannot show growth if one A or B cannot be scored. So if a sample cannot be scored, no growth can be shown. That is a level 1. No growth equals level 1 for the sample. So let's look at the scores. And this is also found in the guidebook for administrators and teachers. So there's 2 charts. This first chart is how the growth score is calculated for the collection. So going back, if you think back to the collection report that I showed you, the teacher's self-score for a collection. A collection's growth score is calculated by finding the difference from point A and point B scores for each of the student samples. Again, each collection has 3 student samples, with the exception of PE, which will have 6 student samples. And then the average growth from those 3 students, or 6, is applied to this chart. I want to show you an example of how this is done. This is an example of what you'll see in your sample report. Again, your samples report will be available to you after score release. So here's a teacher that has the 3 samples for her foundational literacy. You can see this is the teacher's self-score. After peer review, when this report comes out, you will also see peer reviewers, 1, 2, or expert scores. But here for this first student sample, this emerging sample, point A, the teacher self-scored at a 0. Point B, this teacher scored it a 3. The difference from A to B, 3 minus 0 is 3. Then that's done with the next sample, the proficient sample. Point A, the teacher self-scored a 2. Point B, the teacher self-scored a 4. The difference is 2. Then the advanced sample. Point A is a level was self-scored a 3. Point B was self-scored a 5. The difference is 2. Then the average, 3, the difference was 3, 2, and 2. So when you add those up and divide by 3, that average is 2.3. So going back to the chart, 2 levels of growth, but less than 3. So 2.3 falls right here. 2 levels, but not 3. So that collection would receive a level 4. Okay? That's where the 4 comes from. So then the teacher has 4 collections. So the portfolio score comes from each of those 4 collection averages, add, divide by 4, and that score is applied to the teacher effectiveness chart. This is also in the guidebook, as well as in the assessment and scoring guides as well. So I want to show you an example of where teachers can see this information. You can see this information in the score sheet. So once you get your samples report, this teacher has her 4 pre-K collections. The teacher's self-score was 4, 5, 5, 5. You'll see the peer reviewer average. You'll know if it was reviewed by 1, 2, or an expert. And then the final score, the score that is applied, will be here. For today's purposes, we're just going to pretend that this teacher's self-score is the final score. So when you take 4 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5 and get an average, that is 4.75. When you apply 4.75 to this growth chart, that falls right here, and the portfolio will receive a level 5. That will be the final portfolio score. And you will see that number back on your teacher roster report. The final score will be there. Teachers will see that score on their dashboard. So, next steps. Monitor those reports. Monitor your collections report. Pay attention to our teachers finishing. Have they started? It's almost April. They should have started. They should be getting close to completion. Share all the resources with your teachers. You are welcome to share this PowerPoint with your teachers. Monitor that completion status. Remind them the deadline is a Monday. Again, remind them they will not receive support over the weekend. So they want to work on this before May 5th at 5 p.m. If we have questions, please send those to portfolio.questions. And if anyone has not applied but is interested in serving as a peer reviewer, we're going to continue to take applications until close of business on March 28th. These are 2 reminders from last month's office hours. The guidance document, please make sure you get that in the hands of all your teachers. The only videos that need to be removed and reloaded are videos that were uploaded between these dates. So we've had teachers trying to take them down and put them back up that were fine, but only the ones that were uploaded between January 30th and February 5th did those are the only ones that didn't go in correctly. There was an update happening during that time that those did not upload correctly.
And Tracy, I'm going to correct you real quick. You said
Okay,
videos. It's
anything?
all anything uploaded during that time. Videos, JPEGs, anything uploaded during that
All
time will
samples.
need to be re-uploaded.
Thank you, Micah. Thank you so much. Anything, okay. Anything that was uploaded between January 30th and February 5th. Also keep in mind, and if you weren't able to attend the February office hour, go back and watch that video if you need to. You have access to view the teacher's work in this platform. So you can go to view teacher submissions and you can check. So they can ask you to look and see, is their work viewable? You can see that in the in your view teacher samples. Also, we are still finding that teachers are uploading the docx files. Those are not showing up in preview. If you notice when you check view teacher submissions, teachers have uploaded this type of file, please remind them they need to take those down, save them as a PDF, and then load them. We cannot ensure that a peer reviewer can view a .x file. We have submitted this issue. We're working on it, but we are still currently not able to preview those. So I would tell them to take it down. If it's a .x file, take it down, save it as a PDF, and put it back to just be sure it can be viewed. All of this information is in that video guidance document. Our support is answered at portfolio.questions. We have a very quick turnaround to those questions. So please, I encourage you and your teachers to email us if there is a problem. Next month, we will wrap it up with a few more reports that I'll show you, and that will be on April 17th. And we'll be finalizing. You'll know by then who your peer reviewers are, if you have any that applied and were selected for this school year. And then notice for May, the date is different than what is currently on our website. The date for May's office hour has been moved to May 22nd. And that is the day where I will show you where you can find your teacher scores on the portfolio lead release date. Scores will be released to you 1 week before they're released to teachers. We have other email supports from our team. We have team questions and RV questions. We also have other supports from the department that are frequently needed. Educator licensure has an email support. Tassel, the screener, Tennessee Universal Reading Screener has email, as well as assessment. Thank you. I know I threw a lot of information at you, so I'm going to stop sharing and toss it to you, Micah, if there are any questions.
Laura Duncan says, on my portfolio teachers report, the dashboard and CSV show several teachers with a portfolio status of complete. However, the downloaded collection report does not show anything for their completion status or self-score. Is this an error, or does the portfolio teachers report not reflect accurate information?
The portfolio teacher report should reflect accurate information, Laura. So I am going to just take a quick, what district is Laura with?
Murray.
Murray. So you're seeing,
When I go to the dashboard for the portfolio teacher report, I can see several that say complete, some are in progress, some not started. And the
Okay.
CSV for that reflects the same thing. When I went to the other report, the collection report,
Mhm.
I can see just on the dashboard view, the model collection scoring rubric. But then when I downloaded the CSV, there is no column to reflect, as that someone else said, column M's not populating. It doesn't show that percentage of completeness or the self-score column at all.
Gotcha. Okay. So,
Ms. Hall is having the same issue.
okay. So let me real quick. I'm looking at I'm gonna say back to you what I'm hearing you say. So you're looking at your portfolio teacher report. I see you have 3 teachers that are complete.
Mm-hmm.
When you go to your collection report,
Yes.
and Miss Hall, this hopefully will answer both of you. So when I go to your collection report and look up one of those, that first teacher, and I'm not going to use teachers' names out loud.
Sure.
Do you see that first teacher, whose last name started with a T, that pre-K teacher?
Mm-hmm.
Do you see under self-score, she has all 4 self-scores?
I don't see any. I'm not seeing any
You're
sign
not
of
seeing
self.
any, you don't see
It's
her
not
self-scores right
showing.
now?
It's not showing me anything about self scores, or the column that you showed that had the percentage of complete. That's not showing populating either. The scoring rubric column is populating.
Okay,
Although I
so
see some that don't have a standard listed there, so I've highlighted those for them to go back in and check that, but
if you don't see a standard, I do know, okay, so I'm seeing people don't see it either. Okay. So what I am assuming, and I don't want to assume, so I'm gonna make a note. It could be the same issue that I got with samples. It could be that the platform is not going to release those scores to you until the score release date, but let me double check.
so we wouldn't be able to see their percentage of correct or complete. I'm sorry.
That's what I'm looking for now to make
Okay.
sure. You should be able to.
I kind
On
of
your
think that, I don't know if it matters or not, but where you had it was columns, I wrote down M, N, and O, M being the rubric, N being the percent complete, and O being self-score. My scoring rubric column is I. So I don't know that the columns are populating the same as the sample report that you displayed. Not that that matters so much, but just,
I know you don't have the samples report until release date. I'm looking right now at your manual on the TN portfolio site,
mhm.
the district administrator manual that's right in the middle. When I scroll down to page collection report, when I'm on my page 6 and 7, this report okay. If you look on page 7, so my apologies. I see in row 9, it says percent complete will be available once the scores are released.
Okay, so we won't,
So that's the
we won't be
problem.
able to see.
You won't be able to, you will see, it won't do you any good. So I thank you for bringing that up to me. You need to know percent complete now, but that percent complete, it says in the manual, is not going to, it's going to be available when scores are released.
So as long as it shows complete on that,
That's the only way right now that I
on the
see.
teacher report, we can assume that they have actually uploaded what's required and
Yes.
self
Yes.
and self-scored.
Yes, if it says complete, so going back to your teacher that you saw was complete,
Yes, ma'am.
she, when I pull up, I can see scores, so I apologize. I did not, again, I'll be transparent. It's a new platform for me as well as it is for you
Sure.
all. So I thought you could see it as well, but looking at that manual, you cannot see their self-score, but I can see the ones that say complete on your teacher report, they all have a self-score right now.
Okay.
As you feel, I feel, I wish you could see the self-score right now because there are some people whose self-scores are low. And that concerns me that they're not self-scoring correctly. So my apologies. At our April office hour, I'll follow up with this issue if I have a fix for it. But otherwise, all you can do to check completion right now is look at your teacher report.
Okay, thank you.
And I'm sorry.
There are currently no other questions in the chat.
Am I correct? District administrators cannot see the number percent, and district administrators can currently not see self-scores. Are those the only two things that you currently can't see that I can see?
The percentage of complete and the
And the
self-score.
self-score number, okay.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry. Any other questions? Do you feel like as a whole, and you can do thumbs up or put in the chat if you don't feel like, do you feel like what you have currently